Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And thank you to everyone who has commented, liked, or subscribed. That means a lot. Okay, today's pick a card reading is who is spying on your social media and why? In front of me, I have 4 different options, each with a different shell. Choose the one that really calls out to you. This is Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. If you need more time, you can pause the video now, and if you know which one you want, you can go to the timestamp down below. Okay, let's get started. Hey, group number 1. Okay, so who is stalking your social media and why? Okay, so immediately when I saw these cards, a song came to me as far as you guys go, which I thought was interesting because, I'm trying to pick up on like what's coming to me about them, but immediately it was you. So I get the impression that you guys were involved with this person and you cut them off, okay? And the song that's coming to mind is that 90s song, Sheryl Crowe, where she says, I think a change would do you good, okay? And this line in particular, on top of that, is standing out where she says, hello, it's me, I'm not alone, if you'd like to reach me, leave me alone. Okay, so you had it with this person, and we're gonna get into why in a minute, okay? And that was like the last impression I had of you, okay? And it stood out in their mind. Okay, so when I see this, it tells me that this person actually, was inspired by you cutting them off to make a real change. And they actually have been really, putting in the work as far as like changing their patterns go. I see like any, patterns that weren't serving them of how they would be. They kind of had some self-sabotaging patterns, as well as some might have been like kind of addicted and with substances and whatever. And I see that this is a legit change coming from them. But as far as you two go, the thing that I feel like you cut off from them is this person was a straight up player, okay? And it kind of had an Aries vibe about it where they weren't even hiding it. Like, I don't know if they told you flat out they didn't want a commitment or what, but that is the place that they were in their life at the time. They just didn't want one, like, and that was that. On top of them kind of acting like an Aries in that way, I'm actually getting Pisces came through strongly. Like, it literally hit my mind before the card flew out. The card flew out a few times actually. But so I wouldn't be surprised if you guys were dealing with a Pisces or somebody, they might have Pisces in their chart strongly, like a few times. The other thing about them is they might actually even be working with somebody on making these changes happen, okay? So yeah, just they're being serious about this. And yeah, so like I said, they're putting in the work. They're doing that shadow work for themselves. But when I see this card, I mean, yes, it can refer to like doubts and fears and insecurities, but actually I'm seeing a positive light with this card though, with the moon. The light is what really stood out. And again, like something about you cutting them off has inspired them, like, to be a better person, whether they admit it or act like that or not. Like, that is what I'm getting. On top of, there's something you do in particular that also inspires this person and keeps them like coming back to your social media, even if you guys aren't together, and they're just kind of drawn to you like a magnet. So I feel like you guys are pretty true to yourselves, you know, and just the way you are and what you post, something about you being you inspires them. And the messages that came through is I want to take a leap of faith with you, and I'm going to make a move toward you. Now, for some of you that will be soon, and for others of you it might be a little while. But yeah, I think deep down they actually do feel like you two are destiny and meant to be. I want to say like it was the timing was off, but on one hand it wasn't, because that's the way it happened, and it really did inspire this change within them. And also, you know, going back to the moon card, the 18 makes a 9, is like you reached them at a cycle that was them in a player stage, basically. And it's interesting how it all played out the way it was supposed to. They were supposed to get cut off harshly to be inspired to make this change and transformation. This is cute. When I see this Page of Pentacles in particular, I just feel like, you know, this person's like, hey, you've got the key for me, you know, the key to my happiness. And I feel like I have the key to your happiness. But I almost get the feeling they're like, but be easy on me, like I'm new at this. No joke. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this person in particular was actually kind of like a newbie when it came to relationships. Like they might not have much experience with it. And I know they come across like they're all that. They're charming. Like I can pick up on that. And even as I picture them wanting you to know that they've changed, I get them like smirking or winking, almost like that feeling. And like, but honestly, yeah, like they're good at getting people, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like that playerness. But as far as actually being in a committed relationship, they're new to that. They want you to be easy on them. This is interesting though, like this progression that I'm seeing is interesting, okay? So yeah, like straight up, they were like a snake who played it cool, but like, and are still playing it cool to a point. So you would not be able to gauge any of this probably by looking at any of their social media, unless of course they do open up on a post and talk about, you know, some kind of transformation. But yeah, I'm definitely seeing it though, like, who knows, they might even come back with some flowers. Like it definitely came through, like there's going to be this romantic side to them and like this changed person. And do know that they've always been highly attracted to you. But their current energy right now is still like kind of like in a I'm gonna do my own thing before I reconnect with you type energy, and it's just they're in self-care mode right now. So yeah. Okay, group number 1. This is what I see for you. This is interesting. Let me know in the comments if this resonated and who this is and what you're gonna do. And if it did resonate, don't forget to give it a like. All right, bye guys. Hey, group number 2. Okay, so who is stalking your social media and why? Okay, so instantly when I saw your cards, 2 songs hit my mind, and one is that one by Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares to you. And then the other one is that song by O-Town, because I had it all and nothing at all. Is this how it ends, with a simple telephone call? You leave me here Nothing at all. Okay, so I think you can get the impression of the theme with this person. Okay, so we have the commitment card twice here, okay? And then, so I'm definitely getting the impression you were with this person, and then something happened, and it ended. Like there was a huge shakeup, and totally like cut off, okay? This connection is cut off. And I'm getting the impression that they honestly feel, and this could be due to pride, okay? So maybe pride got in the way. Maybe it kept people from communicating. Like a heart-to-heart communication is definitely what I'm feeling was needed for this to survive. And it didn't happen. And I'm again getting the impression because of pride. And even now, okay? So I see that this person feels like they would be complete if you were back in their life. But I've got to wonder, like this pride card just keeps standing out as being like some kind of wedge that's in the way. And I feel like, it's like they're not ready to admit that or take any action toward that. And that's why they're stalking you instead. Yeah, and they're definitely daydreaming though about reuniting with you. And, they're reminiscing about the good times. But I feel like at the same time that like they look at your social media, they also feel like, well, this isn't the traditional like Ace of Swords where there's a sword, but it's almost like being stabbed looking at your social media because you two aren't together currently. The signs that came through for this person, so air came through twice in Libra in particular, so they could be a Libra or have Libra in their chart or act like a Libra, and Aries also came through. So definite like air, fire vibes for this group. The other thing is, it's kind of like, yeah, and they're even like, they definitely want a family with you. But again, this pride is keeping them from communicating. And the messages that they have for you is, I love the connection I have with you. And then the 10 of Hearts came up, which is where they feel like you are the one. Like no matter what happened between you two and no matter the lack of communication now, that's what they believe. But they also want to like read more into the situation before taking any action. As well as there's definitely a theme of wanting to be more secure. And I'm getting the feeling like that's within themselves, as well as whatever they're dealing with outside of themselves currently in life before they take action toward you. But that is exactly what I see that they want. Okay, group number 2, this is what I see for you. Let me know in the comments if it resonated. And if it did, don't forget to give it a like. All right, bye guys. Okay, group number 3. Okay, who is stalking your social media and why? Okay, so when I look at these cards, the impression that I get immediately with how this person is like the way they act and how they talk and all that is like, it's like that old song where the guy says, I ain't missing you, no matter what my friends say. And then something about your name showing up like in circles and stuff. So yeah, especially with this card, I'm getting the impression that they act like, oh yeah, I'm totally over whoever you are. But how are they doing? You know, like that type. And yeah. Okay, so I feel like you guys were together and things were going well, and then something happened. And I feel like this person, okay, in particular, actually let's get to their character first. Okay, so the king and the jack showed up next to each other. So when I see this combination, it tells me that this person is mature in some ways and immature in other ways. So when the king of earth in particular comes up, it means like they are probably good at landing a job and making money, but as far as relationships go, they're immature. Like when things start to get rocky, they jump ship or they don't communicate effectively. Okay. And I know, like, you know, communication is most people's big issue. Like, it's a skill that's kind of like learned as we go along. But this person in particular, though, just doesn't, I think, communicate. Like, I'm getting the impression that they dropped the ball as far as communicating to you something important about whatever was going on, and it ended. And you both went through a period of sadness and grief over this connection, okay? On top of the King of Earth coming up, Virgo also came out specifically, so, you know, they could be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, or just have Earth in their chart or act like an Earth sign. Okay, so, yeah, and I'm just getting this sense that, you know, due to whatever happened and the lack of communication, that they are also full of regret. So they're like, you know, looking at your social media, like thinking, oh man, if I had just done this or I had just done that. Like they're rehashing the past and thinking like, what could they have done better? And like seeing, you know, like looking at your social media thinking what you two could have been. But the main reason that they are looking is they are wondering if you have moved on, okay? And now for some of you, this is just a general wondering like, oh, have they moved on yet? And then for others of you, they are actually under the impression you really might have moved on. So maybe some of you have, okay? And others of you maybe are just posting with different people and they're seeing that and they don't know, but they're really wondering. And for some of you, you know, like that is being portrayed as a fire sign. And you're being portrayed here as the Queen of Earth. So it's possible that you are an Earth sign, or you just have Earth in your chart, or act like an Earth sign. But yeah, I'm actually seeing though that it gives them anxiety to think that you might have moved on. Because they really feel like if they had just communicated right with you, that you two would still be together and they wouldn't have to be checking out your social media like they are. And I do feel like, okay, so they feel like it would be a 50-50 chance that you two would get back together. And if the dice rolled in their favor, it is showing that they would build with you and start anew. But it's kind of like they feel like you in particular would have to give them this clean slate to really have like a new beginning with them. Okay, group number 3, this is what I see for you. If this resonated, let me know in the comments. And don't forget to give it a like. All right, bye guys. Hey, group number 4. Okay, so who is stalking your social media? Okay, so I actually have 2 different people that came through, which is the only group that has 2 different people. Okay, so the first person that came up is being portrayed as the King of Water. And I get the impression that this is somebody that you know of, okay? So you weren't romantically involved with this person, but I do feel like even more so than them possibly being a water sign, like they could, but I feel like they're being portrayed as the King of Water here because they had a big crush on you, okay? But you two ended up being like completely opposite on something that mattered to both of you and like clashing, okay? And yet they're still intrigued enough by you to be like looking at all your stuff, okay? So I still feel like they still have this kind of hope for you two. And you actually showed up here twice as the Queen of Air. So it is possible that you are an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, or have it strong in your chart, or maybe you just act like one. But either way, I'm definitely getting that you guys have this independence, and you do speak your mind, and you do cut things off, you know? If you feel like this isn't serving you, you're true to yourself, you cut them off. And I feel like that does like take people by surprise, but they're also kind of intrigued by it. Okay, so the next person that came through is an ex who I'm actually getting more than an earth or air sign, that they're more like an earth sign. Okay, but could be either. So with you and the ex, it seems like you guys did not see eye to eye on something. And basically, you know, your stories of what you two wanted matched in the beginning, and then all of a sudden all these differences started coming out, and just you guys weren't getting along, and then your stories of what you wanted didn't match anymore, and you both decided you'd be better off going your separate ways. I'm also getting the impression that along with you being independent, telling people, you know, your opinion and what's true to you, you also were really, it seems like you're really into something, whether it's work or like something creative or a hobby. And I'm getting the impression that your ex did not get as much attention and like affection as they feel they need in a relationship. Okay, so it's like your love languages were different. And that was another thing that you two didn't see eye to eye on, okay? So maybe they needed that constant reassurance where you're more like, we should, you know, both have like a life outside of each other, a life of our own, and, you know, not lose ourselves in this relationship, okay? Definite independent streak. And they're not like that. They need that constant reassurance, it seems like. But so it's kind of interesting how both people are similar with, you know, the clashing and not seeing eye to eye on things that matter to you. But at the same time, as much as you shock them with cutting them off, they're still like really intrigued and hopeful about this connection. And that's why they're watching or looking at your social media. Now, as far as the ex goes, I feel like, well, this could honestly be a message from both of them. So the person that you know of that's crushing, and then the ex, it's kind of like they're both kind of looking for a sign, but I feel like this is even more so the ex. Okay, so like a sign that you know, wondering if you're missing them at all. And then I feel like once they get that sign and they feel like, oh, you know, your vibe is like inviting, then you could hear from them. But it's kind of like, maybe this is their way of, okay, so let's be friends popped up, and I get the impression that they might try to come back and like add you on your social media, because I'm not getting that they want to just be friends. That's not the vibe there. But at the same time, they do have these reservations, okay? So they do have trust issues. And that could be in general, but I'm also getting that it has to do with the way that you were able to cut things off and seem okay, even if it was hard on you. That shakes them up a bit, because they're like kind of the opposite. So kind of, you know, your ex was also kind of like the King of Cups here. So it's kind of a double message here. I do feel like there was somebody crushing on you that you didn't know as well that was represented with the King of Cups, but your ex is also like the King of Cups. Okay, they have this idea of romance and love, and they place it really high as far as like what is important to them. And you're very independent. So that is what kind of gives them the trust issues, like, oh man, but if I mess up, or, you know, we don't see eye to eye again and don't communicate correctly, like, she'll cut me off again, or him. Okay, so whether you're a guy or girl, you are being represented as the Queen of Swords and Air, and like, you speak your mind and you will cut people off. And it scares them, and they respect it all at the same time. And either way, you are like doing your own thing regardless. So you're that person who's like, you know what? You know, no matter if you're in my life or not, like, I'm going to keep doing my thing in that, you know, they are watching because of that, and they are watching to see if there is any sign of you at all missing this person and wanting them back. Okay, group number 4, that is what I see for you. If this resonates, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to give it a like. All right, bye guys.